Hello guys, my name is Cristian Castaño. I'm an athlete from Colombia and from the Alchemy team. And today I'm going to be talking to you about what to do during competition days. So I'm going to give you my personal opinion, my approach, depending on my own diving for the depth that I'm going to, and of course my body type and my energy levels, I will say, of what I can do during these days, because I think it's something that changes a lot from person to person. So it's not that this is for everybody, right? So everybody has to find their own way to decide what to do during competition days to be at their most optimal fitness they can. So the first thing I will think about is about physical training, and I'm gonna say that right before competition you want to make the time appropriate so you can reach your peak while you are in competition days. Personally, for me, this takes about 1 month of training, and then during the competition days I like to have done a dive that I aim for in the previous days. Like if I made it like 3 days before the comp, I don't even train the next days. I just keep the good sensations of the good dive so I can repeat it at the comp. And one good thing that people can do as well when they start the comp is to build up their confidence. So I will say not starting with the deepest dive with your PV is a good idea, because it might put a lot of stress and nervous in you. But if you do something that is easier and you build up from there, you can definitely gain confidence and be more relaxed for the next dives so you can reach your depth goal during the competition later. There's a lot of controversy and opinions regarding food. I think it's very personal, so not all the food types will apply to everybody and they will act in the same way. So if something you find that is not good for your stomach, not good for your sinuses, you should avoid it. And there is a lot of also opinions whether to eat, what to eat before your diving days and your deep dives. Personally, what I find for my body type is that if the dives that I have are early in the morning, I like to go without eating any breakfast. I feel like my body can have enough energy from the meal of the day before, and I like to have a meal that is rich in carbohydrates, like a pasta or something like that. That's me. And then I have done also competitions that go in the afternoon, and for those dives I like to eat something in the morning that also will give me enough energy. And very important, that doesn't make me get really cold in the water, because sometimes the problem when you don't eat anything is that your body is not going to have enough energy to keep you warm, so you might get really cold in the water if you've been waiting without eating for long. Something else I really like to train right before competition, and that I keep practicing during competition days, are actually CO2 tables. I think CO2 tables you really need them to keep your mind good when the contractions come and when the urge to breathe comes, because when you are going for a really deep dive, you need to make it at least to the point that you reach the bottom, right? And sometimes with the pressure as well of the water, it's not so easy to take both pressure contractions and CO2 contractions. So it's good that maybe if you're going for depth, you're only experiencing, in my opinion, depth contractions, that they can happen as well, right? And then the CO2 contractions, you can leave them for the way up. And that's if you have a good training of CO2 tables. Personally, I really like to do one that doesn't take much time, which is the kind of CO2 table where you only take one breath and then you hold your breath. In my case, I do it 10 times. When I'm at my peak, I do like a table of every time I hold my breath for 1 minute 30 or 2 minutes with only one breath in between. And that really builds up CO2, and it's something that is really fast to do, so it doesn't take much of your time during the day. And I still do it during competition, and I think it really helps me. It's also something I recommend because it will not be overtrained, since it's just CO2, it's not so really hard on your body. Only if it's affecting you a lot in the mental aspect, I will recommend that you better don't do it. If you're finding that you have to struggle a lot, that if you are struggling a lot with that, then better leave it behind a little bit. Or start easy, you know, like when you're doing this table, you can start with 1 minute breath hold every time, even 45 seconds, and doing the 10 breath holds. Something else that I enjoy doing and that I find that can help a lot regarding technique and not having cramps and issues is of course stretching. I personally don't like to stretch before my dives. I feel that it activates my metabolism and I don't want it active before my deep dive. So I do like to do stretching after my dives and at night as well. So I feel that I have very flexible legs and arms depending on the discipline I'm focusing in, right? Maybe a little bit of stretching, for example, if you're doing monofin dives, you can stretch a little bit the quadriceps because you can build up a lot of lactic acid if your technique is not so good in those. So the quadriceps, a little bit of the legs, but very, very, very simple stretching just right before the dive. Maybe sometimes I also do it. And another very important aspect that I keep doing while I do my competition days is don't stop with the mental training. And this is something that I do every night before my dives. Even after my dives, I practice the dive for the next day. And it's just to visualize all your actions and all your dive in a positive way when you are going for whatever number, no? So starting laying on the bed, I don't even like to hold my breath. I just picture myself with the competition specifics, you know, like I imagine the judges, I imagine the safeties, the cameras if there are, because those things can also play against you when you are in the real day, you know, the things that you don't normally have during training. So it's good to incorporate them when you're doing visualization, and like that you are prepared for that. Then you are going to be able to succeed, in my opinion, in your dives, because these deep dives I think are more mental than physical. Besides that, the activities that you do during the day, I really try to relax as much as possible. And for this, I will try to do some things that are different from water activities and from physical activities. So I prefer to do just chilling things. I like to read, I like to listen to music, hang out with people, talk about different things than the competition if possible, just to keep a really cool and calm state of mind. I think that also helps a lot. Try to make sure that you get a really good night's sleep, and like sometimes I know with the nerves it's really hard to fall asleep, so it has happened to me sometimes. I've had to take sleeping pills, but be very aware that the substance that you're taking is not in the WADA rules for doping. So it's a substance that is allowed, and it's only going to help you to sleep that night, and then maybe it's going to be out of your body straight away, because we don't want to be in problems with doping, no? So sleeping, resting, doing nice activities, stretching, CO2 tables, mental training, those are the things I would recommend you guys in order to succeed in your deep dives in a competition.